Hello and welcome. My name is Stacey Page and today I will be demonstrating how to position electrodes on a patient's scalp for an EEG test. Electrode positioning will be determined using the International 1020 system. To begin, I will identify the three landmarks. The first is the nasion, which is the depression at the top of the nose where the nasal and the frontal bones meet, just in there. The second is the inion, which is the protruding point at the back of the skull in the occipital lobe, just there. And lastly, the preocular points, which are the depressions anterior and superior to the tragus, so just in there. To determine the sagittal plane, we need to measure from the nasion to the inion, like so. And we'll take that measure as 30 centimetres. So what we do is we will place a mark at 15 centimetres, half of 30. That will now be our CZ mark. Next, we will take 10% of the CZ measure, which it was 30, so 10% is 3 centimetres. So we'll go 3 centimetres above the nasion, like so, and mark that. Take that as our frontopolar position and mark that. Now that we have the frontopolar position, we will do the exact same thing. Turn the patient's head around and 10%. We will now mark above the O and the frontopolar positions. We will go 20%. So 10% was 3, so 20% is 6. So we'll go 6 centimetres above these points just here and mark the patient's scalp again. Stage 2. Next we will determine our coronal plane. Now this is done by measuring between the two preocular points on the patient. So we'll take this measurement as 35, and keep in mind that this measurement, the measuring tape must go over the CZ marking. So we get 35, so we'll do 10% again, so 10%, 3.5, again on the other side, 3.5, and we go up 20% again. So that will be 7 centimetres above those points, so 7. Now that we have T3 and T4 marked, we can determine the horizontal plane. So we go from FP around to O, 10% above the inion. And once we have that measurement, we take 10% and we go 10% either side of FP, and that will give us FP1 and FP2. FP1 will go on the left side and FP2 will go on the right side. Now take 20% from F2 to give F8 and 20% from F1 to give F7, and repeat on the back. So we have point O, 10% either side is O2 and O1. 20% from these points gives T5 and T6, and that gives you your horizontal plane. So next is to determine the parasagittal lines. We do this by measuring from F1 to the back at O1. Now this measurement is 26, so we go 50% will give you your C3 mark, and if you repeat on the other side, that will give you your C5 mark. Lastly, to determine the frontal square line and the parietal square line, we go from F7 to F8, and we go through that previous 20% mark 50%, that will give you your FZ mark, and 20% of these measurements will give F4 and F3. To get the parietal square, you go from T6 to T5, ensuring you go through that 20% mark above O. So you go 50%, that gives you your PZ, and then 25% like we did in the frontal square, and that will give you P3 and P4. So we have a sagittal plane, a horizontal plane, a coronal plane, 2 parasagittal planes, a frontal square line, a parietal square line. 21 electrodes later, our patient is all marked up and ready to roll. Thank you very much.